Hi, my name is Danielle Leitch, and I'm from More Visibility. Welcome to Beyond the Click, presented by More Visibility, where I will be speaking with marketing leaders from all industries about how they are navigating the shift that is occurring in the marketing landscape today and what that means for the future of marketing. We are experiencing a time right now where marketing is being fundamentally reshaped. AI, changing search behavior, and completely new discovery channels are redefining how brands show up and compete. I'm really excited today to be joined by Mike Barzacchini from Harper College. Mike, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Danielle. It's good to be here. I appreciate this.
Absolutely. So, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and the background before we dive into the conversation?
Sure, thank you. So Harper College is a large community college in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and I'm fortunate enough to lead an integrated marketing team of 22 professionals that include web, social media, design, project management, all the way through. And so it's great to be able to talk about how we're dealing with this rapid pace of change with you today.
Fantastic. From your perspective, what do you think is the most underestimated thing that marketers are not considering given this shift that's happening right now? What are
Yeah, that
people not thinking about or not placing enough emphasis on?
Sure. So there's a lot out there about how to use these tools, different case examples of, applying AI or other technological platforms. I think that we need to shift to have more discussions about the audience. It's interesting, the last maybe 10, 15 years, we've seen this shift with mobile and with other kind of interactive platforms where the audience has more control than ever. It used to be 25 years ago, I'd put a media plan out there and I knew I could reach you, Danielle. Now, not so much. You have the control. You can program your own network with that device in your pocket. And so while I'm seeing a lot of opportunities to hear about what AI tools can do to my productivity, to thinking about how it impacts search, content creation, I don't think we fully realized how our audiences are using AI and what that means to us as marketers, and how more of the balance of power, if that's possible, is even shifting to them.
Absolutely. And that actually segues perfectly into the next question that I wanted to ask you is as AI is reshaping these discovery paths or patterns and how we as consumers are evaluating brands, how do you think the role of marketing visibility is evolving?
I think that, again, people are finding us directly by using AI. And so they're hearing about us, learning about us. For instance, in our case, doing college searches or searches for programs. They're still using, kind of the traditional, what we had traditional, although it's still, new and ever evolving search patterns. And I think the fundamental aspect, I think, that we need to focus on is the fundamentals still matter, and maybe they matter more than ever. So, is our content accessible? Is our content usable? Is it relevant? Are we helping our audience solve problems and answer questions? And are we doing this with authority? And I think that's so to me, it's, and what we're seeing with, as we see our own search results shift in seeing what AI does to us, are we making sure that we're investing the time and the intelligence into developing that content of authority, I'll call it, so that we're serving our audiences, helping them solve problems, helping them discover as best they can. And then, as you know, if they find us through search or they find us through AI, and we are helping them, we're linking them to resources or linking them to solutions to their problems, they're going to come back. They're going to come back directly. So how do you build that relationship and maintain that relationship through that kind of content of authority that's really obsessively focused on the audience and what they need?
Yeah, I think you made some great points there, Mike, relative to the personalization and how important, that is and how it really does matter that you are speaking and especially in your case, you do have multiple audiences. Sometimes you're talking to a first time in college student, so that's a 16, 17, 18-year-old. Sometimes you're talking to the parents of that first time in college student. And sometimes you're talking to an adult if it's one of the certification programs. So that content really does need to resonate. And I think, the reminder that you put forward there is also very important. The fundamentals cannot be overlooked. We need to have the vision of the future and how things are evolving, but we also have to keep ourselves grounded in the most basic elements of marketing, because without those, the technology and the advancements really won't benefit us at all. So great points there. When you look ahead to the next 12 months, which right now in the world of marketing, it, seems like forever, but if we look ahead 12 months, what marketing capability or discipline do you believe will become significantly more important for us as marketing leaders than it is today?
But you talked about the impact that AI is having on us as marketers and having on our audiences. And I think the next stage, and it's happening right now, and we're seeing it happen with us. But we're at those we have to remind ourselves, AI is still in its so infancy and how it's going to affect our jobs and affect our audiences and affect our businesses. So I see the growth in having AI help us understand more about our audiences, helping us, develop those personas, develop those critical questions that our audience wants to see answered, and us being able to take, actionable strategy and tactics around those things so that we really are kind of making that connection with our most important audiences with, whether it's content, whether it's experiences, whether it's channels that mean the most to them. So it really is one of the things that I'm sure you've seen, and I have too, is with this explosion of AI, it's like produce, 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 produce. And that's great, but we have to also be thoughtful about what it is we're producing and who we're producing it for. So I'm excited in the next 12 months about that kind of intelligence and insight that AI is going to give us if we apply it, again, with our audience first and foremost in mind.
Right. Absolutely. Most most mid-market marketing teams often are being required to adapt very quickly right now, given this landscape, and to keep up with all of the changes. But they're not being given any additional budget. So it's really do more with same, or unfortunately, in some cases, it's do more with even less. So, where do you think leaders should be focusing their energy right now to stay competitive?
So I think if you lead a team, as I do, a 22-person team, whether you have a larger team or a small team, or whether you're a solo department, I really think you need to maintain that kind of flexibility, that fluidity, that nimbleness. And I think the two things that I think about are, you have to be courageous and you have to have curiosity because a lot of this we're still in the exploration standpoint. If you are managing a team, or even with yourself, you also have to kind of flex your empathy, right? We're not going to get all this stuff right out of the barrel. We're not going to figure it all out at once, but there's an opportunity for incremental change and innovation as we go, and testing. That's the other thing that AI gives us a tremendous opportunity to do, and all these technological platforms is that we always know testing has been important since direct mail, but now we can do it in a much faster and more innovative way. And then I would say the other thing we have to be frank about, and this is one of the things that we're learning as a marketing team and as an institution, as an organization, what's essential for us to do, what's essential for us to innovate on, and what do we need to stop doing, or at least stop doing in the way we're doing it? Because, all these new innovations that are coming with AI and content development and what AI is doing to search, we can't do that and keep doing the same things, and we shouldn't because those same things are not as effective. So it really is that kind of innovation, prototyping, keeping what's essential, building on that. And so that's why I always kind of lay on that kind of, kind of that curiosity and empathy as being two of those kind of core skills, whether you're a marketing leader or you're just trying to figure it all out yourself.
I love that, Mike, the curiosity, but coupled with the empathy, because I think we all learn at different speeds and paces. And you're coming from, the field of education as well. But I've noticed within our own organization and in talking with other marketing leaders, that there's some people on the team are off into the races running and they are excited, diving in head first and have no fear. Others are the complete opposite of the spectrum, very hesitant, unsure, prefer to have an entire playbook written out before they take step one, right? And so I think as leaders, we really do have to have that empathy to understand, the ones that want to run, don't stop them and keep keep that curiosity fueled. But the ones that are concerned or have hesitation, or it takes them a little bit longer to adapt to new things, I think having that empathy as a leader is really important, especially with something like AI, where there are a lot of feelings and opinions on it, right?
Absolutely. And I think we need both those kinds of folks on our teams or in our organizations and everybody else in between because we're kind of, in some cases, although I think we are being thoughtful and planful and doing things responsibly, we're kind of still building the plane while we're in the air, right? Every day we're learning more about what the impact of AI has, and at the same time dealing with other real world concerns and priorities like accessibility, for example, if we're talking about the digital world. And that's one of the things our team is focused on right now because it's great if we're really smart marketers and we do these wonderful messages, but if we're not, building in accessibility to the folks we're trying to reach, then we're going to fail. So again, it's that hyper focus on the audience. But we need all those kinds of folks. We need the hesitant folks, we need the excited folks, and we need the folks that are in between.
Absolutely. Yeah. Leading with strengths for sure. And I appreciate the mention of the fluidity and agility, because I think those are also two not only leadership qualities that are necessary, for us moving forward, but I think as individual contributors, I think those are very important, because all of our playbooks are being rewritten
Yes,
right now. And having a 5-year marketing plan, I don't know that that will ever occur again. In theory, it sounds good, but at the pace, and the speed of change right now, it would be outdated very quickly.
absolutely.
One final question for you, Mike, and this has to do with forward looking. What's one assumption about marketing today that you think will look very, very different 5 years from now?
Well, we know that AI will be here in some form or fashion in 5 years. But what I think I'm seeing and hearing a lot about now is again that rapid content creation, that rapid prototyping, and I think people understand, but still are hopeful that AI is like this sack of magic beans that are going to deliver us this marketing beanstalk. And I don't believe that's the case. I think it's going to be the HI, the human intelligence, and the strategy and the creativity and the thoughtfulness coupled with those magic beans, they're going to grow that beanstalk. And I think people we're talking about that now and applying that now. But I think it's real important that we back away from just the hype of it and understand, look, if I'm a smart marketer, if I'm a strategic marketer, if innovation has always been part of my blueprint, this just gives me an opportunity to amplify that and shape it. So when AI first, I'll end on this real quick. So when AI first started to kind of be in discussions 2 or 3 years ago, when I was going out and doing presentations and listening to presentations, my mantra to myself, and it still is today, is I'm not as excited or fearful about what AI is going to do to marketing. I'm more excited about what marketing and human intelligence is going to do to AI in our sector. That's what we've got to build on and lead on going forward. And that's what I'm excited to see the change in the future, what that's going to be like.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot for all of us to be excited about, but strategy and creativity cannot be underestimated in terms of the importance that it will play moving forward, both today, next year, and to your point, 5 years from now. Thank you so much, Mike. This has been Beyond the Click, presented by More Visibility. Stay tuned for additional conversations as we continue to explore the future of marketing with today's marketing leaders. Thank you, Mike, for joining me, and thank you for listening.